All right. No, wait, hold on. This is incorrect. Update the stream info, which I forgot to do. There we go. That's better. It should hopefully be correct now. Yeah, there we go. All right. So today I am gonna see if I can get all the code migrated. Because I'm on this util package. All right, so I'm on this util. I'm on this util package here, and there's still a lot of things in it. So I'll probably start with the stuff that's in the root package, then just go down to the sub packages, kind of do that. Because I'm sure this has a lot of stuff. Yeah, so replace this with an if. But don't do that. Right, because if this is null, then it's not going to be that. So then we just do that. I will rename this. Blunt. Remove all the useless assignments. Double to float, this can be lossy because this is all this. So just make this floats. Yeah, these should all be floats. Okay, so if that's redundant, then we'll do that. So that always starts as false. So there's a far better way of doing this. No, one. I'll rename this to blunt, because that makes more sense to me. I don't need a case 2 label, I can just have a default label. Same here. Okay, so what does this say? Its adaptability amount is set to 25% by default. Right, I set it to here. So this is redundant. Because I guess it never goes down? True. Okay. And then we come along here and we start putting this all in the map. Enchantability is a word. Keep it. Keep it. Alright. This should be... It's possible to extract method returning dist from a long surrounding method. What the hell are you talking about? Whoa, what? No. Why would I do that though? I know how this works. Why the hell would I do that? Okay, rename that. Z-scores add 3.5 to each value. This make negative values small, positive values and positive values larger. Then combine the z-scores into a 4D vector and get the Euclidean norm from these squash values into the range using tanh. Why would I want to extract the method? What the hell is the point of doing that? I have a couple more of these. This doesn't actually return a tuple, this just returns a damage distribution. Whoa, that's not how you spell that. Right, that's what it is, right? Yeah. I just need mob resistances get type. Or get resistance, excuse me. Alright, that's that one, holy moly. Unnecessary non-capturing group? Can that really work? I guess so, right? Because I don't need to escape it because I only need to escape the backslashes. That's interesting. This regex allow empty. This is for I don't feel like getting rid of it. Fix that and everything. Null, this should be non-null, and this should also probably be non-null, but I don't know where. Later on. Wait, you want this? I guess I don't need to make it a non-capturing group. Wait, yeah, because that's what this is, right? Unnecessary non-capturing group. I'm just gonna leave it. Because I don't want to like change this and then realize that I was using capture groups and then have that like break everything. So not messing with that. Make you final. You final. Where's this even used? Well, what if I made this void? We just did this. I guess I could do that. It doesn't really matter that much. And this is basically a record, but Java 8 doesn't have records, so I can't make this a record. Otherwise, I would. And I'd probably make this a record too. That's true. I don't need the, whoops. I don't need the parentheses here. You never used? What? Seems to do just fine with that, so I guess we don't need to decode the color. Fair enough, I suppose. Actually, can I, oops. Can I put that right here? Nope. Okay, so that's all that stuff. Now there's a bunch of other things. I think I'll do this one first. Wow, I can't spell. Wow. There we go. Console. Let's just clean up some of this here. As we don't need any of that. Then we'll go through the abstract stuff, and then we'll go through that stuff. We'll start with this one. Yeah, this is what I expected to have happen. A whole bunch of stuff. That doesn't matter because I can just do that. This is not used. Well, I wouldn't have used it otherwise. I'm gonna leave this. That's sort of intended to be in case anyone wants to access this and see if there's callbacks. I don't exactly know why they would want to, but that's sort of why that's there. I mean, I guess I don't need this. That was easy. All this stuff can be final, so let's make them all final. We can do that. And then we can do that. Not bad. Where even is this? This is on line 54. Oh. With non-null argument. It starts as null, but I guess it never is? No, this map contains no mapping for the key. How do we know that that's going to be the case? With non-null argument should be placed with optional of. The path is empty. We add the key. We start at the root, and while the path is not empty, which is always true, it's never empty, because if it's empty, we're adding something, which means it's not empty when we reach this point. So since it's not empty at this point, this is assigned something, which means it's not a non-null. Well, what if this is assigned null, right? This is possible. Right, because this could be null. The value to which a specified key is mapped, or null if this map contains no mapping for the key. So if it contains no mapping for the key, this whole method returns null. Ugh, excuse me, oh my gosh. And so if this returns null, I mean, I guess you get like a null pointer or a class cast exception when you cast null. Wait, no you don't. You can do it. Yeah. It just remains null. Doesn't matter. So if this is null, then it can return null. How do you reach the conclusion that this is non-null? Right, because we know that this is not empty, so this returns something. This gets something. I don't agree with this. Oh, wait, I see. No, it is not null. Because if this is null, then we run into a null pointer here. It never gets to here. The only time it gets to here is if it's not null. Sorry, if lm is not null. And now, there we go. See, that makes more sense. That makes more sense. This is an unnecessary unboxing. Get int is never used? What do you mean? I mean, okay, I guess if it's not used, it doesn't really matter. Yeah, safe delete this. Search for usages and delete get int. Yeah. Get nested object is never used. I guess I can safe delete that too. Validate number is never used. Couldn't I do validate number? Color from JSON. X regex. Whoops. Whoa. And then this here. Right, so now if it doesn't match that, we throw that. There we go. It is now used. Well, whoops, not JSON object here. I want to check to see if there's a situation where it would. Oh, because it gets it and then it validates it and then it parses it, so. That's like the only int that's used, so. Right, so we can safe delete that. Get nested object. Okay. So then that's all that. Variable result initializer false is redundant. Okay, so that's redundant. In there. Alright, that's. I didn't even know that was a thing. I'm glad to know that that's a thing. So how would this do that if turns the abstract path name of this abstract path name's parent, or null if this path name does not name a parent directory? The parent of an abstract path name consists of the path name's prefix, if any, and each name in the path name's name sequence except for the last. If the name sequence is empty, then the path name does not name a parent directory. Oh, this will always have a parent directory. And now I have all of this shit to do. And then all of this shit to do. Alright. Some of these are really simple. I'm gonna go bottom up here. I probably want that. That way, if this is, so that way I won't get a null pointer there. It'll just give me an empty optional on the register string, which is probably what I want. Isn't it just this? Yeah. Yeah, it's exact the same as this. Yeah, I know. I currently never needed that. Okay, that's not too bad. This is probably fine. This is also fine. That's good. That probably needs to be final, as does this. I'd just do sets.new hash set here. Yes, I can. Wow, yeah, I don't care about this being. That's fine. That's also fine too. Remove all of that. I need that. Lambda can be replaced with method reference. Wow, you're so right. I don't know if I'll need those later, but I feel like I'd rather have them than not have them. This is left in intentionally. Uh, qualify that. Yeah, maybe, but I think this has to be an at non-null. And I think this also needs at non-null. And that's redundant. And maybe final. This feels incredibly pointless. Because isn't this always going to be true? That way it can't be made any other way. I mean, the whole class is private anyway, so it doesn't even matter. Okay, so now I want to find the usages for this. It's only used in 3 places. It's used as comparison, and then this is reassigned somewhere. Yeah, it's reassigned. So it's this is never. Yeah, that's fine. Okay, so that's all that. Yeah, and then I go up to here, and then I do the tooltip system, and then we're pretty close to done. I just think these might take a bit. Alright, I guess yes, I don't need public on these. That's a little redundant. I understand. Okay, so that's good. This has a bunch of things. Oh, I can just do CT apply armor modifier, right? Yeah, look at that. Wait, that doesn't make any goddamn sense. Oh, not for class. Not for class. Not for class. We don't want to go. We don't want to go that high up. That's not it. Same parameter value. That's the one I needed. Yeah, that's true. I was expecting that to be a lot more. Cannot resolve symbol amount? What are you talking about? Oh. I guess this is now called damage. Yes, I did mean not occurred. Holy shit, dude. The amount of typos I find just like looking through this is sometimes wild. Makes you wonder what I was on when I wrote a lot of this. This is the one time where I think putting it at the class level is fine because those are the only methods there. Yeah, I know it's not technically the greatest, but we're gonna leave it. For now, I'm leaving that. Oh, true. So, because this is XOR, right? So like if A is null, right, then we have to check B. And if B is null, if they're both null, then we go here, right? And then if A is null, then we already know B is null because they were both null here. And so we return true. Right? Because the only way we get, right? I mean, there's like 4 possible outcomes. We can see exactly what's going on here. If A is null, then if B is not null, we return here. Then if B is null, then they're both null, so we return true. If A is not null and B is null, then we return false. If A is not null and B is not null, then we check if A is not null and that's false, and then we short circuit and we just go here. So we actually don't even need this. I know how this works. I'm talking about the variable A. You know what? We're just gonna do this. Capitalize them. Alright, so that's all that. And then we have this armor classifier, which apparently is just good to go, so then that's that. I already checked all of this, so that's that. So now I just have this package to check, which includes this package as well. Oh boy. So far, it has not led to class loading deadlock, so we're fine. This probably needs a this. Whoa, nice. How I managed to make the same mistakes like multiple times? Sometimes I don't understand. I'm glad that that was pretty easy. These might just be like really easy. There we go. And then we can get rid of this. Non-annotated parameter overrides non-null. You forgot outside. Nice. I agree. That's probably a great idea. Let's save that to dictionary. What's the code migration? It's the same thing I was doing last week, where I'm migrating it from using Eclipse to IntelliJ. and I just have like these files left to go through, and then all of these ones. Right? So same migration I was doing last week, but I'm nearly done. Typo in projectile distribution? No, that's a valid word, trust me. Alright, that's good. Static member accessed via... What the fuck? Qualify, oh yeah, qualify, yeah, like that, sure. Non-annotated method overrides that. So what, this is gonna be at non-null? And then this is at non-null? So I don't need that, that's redundant. Because I don't even need this. Oh, what are you doing? No, no, no. Because I'm under the assumption that by saying not null, right? I'm under the assumption that by saying not null, I'm requiring it to not be null. I've verified that this is not null. What about the cap? Cap extractor. Flat map. Oh, so I already know it's not null as well. Wow, look at that. I know it's not null because I've checked this here, and this maps to an optional, which you can't see because you can't see the pop-up, but it maps to an optional, and so if it was null, this would be optional empty, and so this flat map would never actually call this. Ah, bada boom, bada bing. So these annotations actually are completely in force here, so I don't need to worry about it. 2 consecutive spaces. Oh, replace with 2. Oh, yeah, match this space exactly 2 times. Or something. Yeah, that's what it does, right? It matches the space exactly 2 times. Okay, yeah, that's interesting. Anyway, we're not quite there yet. We're still here. I'm getting a little lost in the sauce. And then this one, the cache can be final. This can be removed. This could just be set to maps.new hash map. Remove unused imports and explicit type, which I suppose is where? Line 67, which I'm guessing is way the heck over here. Oh wait, it's right here. And there we go. And now this is somehow a problem. Lambdas can be replaced with method references. No, wait, don't do that. Don't do that. That's illegal. More actions. Save that to dictionary. Okay, so under what pretense are we oh, wait, yeah. Just do attribute modifier get amount, right? Right? Like that? Minus these bad boys? Just like that? Works for me. What the fuck? No. Bro. Copy this. Copy this. Paste it here. What do you mean method dot dot dot? I'm pretty sure I didn't fucking copy that shit. That was actually pretty simple. Modifier is public. Okay, fine. String builder can be replaced with string. I guess. If you're gonna be like that, I suppose. Signless is fine. What do we got here? Unnecessary semicolon. Yeah, that is unnecessary. All right, dude, who said it was gonna take 9 years? I'm gonna finish this in the next 20 minutes. It's gonna be easy. I know that that's not null. That's never null. Wait, is that really what I was doing here? What the fuck? What's going on here? Oh, you're so right, bro. You're so right. Sorry, we gotta do a SpongeBob jump to cut 12 hours later. No, I promise it's not gonna be that hard. It's gonna be easy. Trust me. Look, I just have this. This is all the abstract stuff. This is where it's gonna get really easy. Unchanged all, add that to dictionary, add that to dictionary. Strat. Where did I type strat? Oh, yeah. This is fine. Add that to dictionary. Right, so that's easy. Non-A10 method. This adds, so we add at non-null here. And then I need to add at non-null here, don't I? Overriding method parameters are not annotated. Okay, we're gonna yeah, we're gonna also fix this. Yeah, replace it with an if, and then we get rid of this part because this is just a config option, so I know that that's gonna be non-null. Who writes code like this, bro? What the fuck? Else if. Yeah. Else if. Boom. And then we can remove the final here. And we can get rid of that. And then overriding method parameters are not annotated. Go to overriding methods. Conarm armor formatter. Where the fuck are you? Oh my god, look at you. You're fucking crazy. Oops, I can spell. Boom. Boom, you're happy. Look at that, dude. Easiest thing of my life. Abstract tooltip formatter, no problems. Abstract key tooltip formatter, this can be final. This is true, this can be final. This can be final. But holy shit, I misspoke as a joke. I didn't mean to actually mistype again. Also easy. And then check this out. Not annotated. Well, look at this. I got an at non-null for you, buddy. And an at non-null for you too. Actually, wait, hold on. Can I go to unarm client armor formatter just for a second? I just want to, yeah, see. So the interesting thing here is that in this one, I'm already acting under the assumption that they're non-null, right? Like I'm assuming that they're non-null. I never added any checks for that because I was like, yeah, no, it's non-null. We're fine, and it's true. It is non-null. I just need to annotate it at that. Wait. That's the file I was working on. Which was this one. Explicit. Okay, so this is a stack. Stack to true if the distribution should be shown. False if not. I know I made a typo. Distur, dude, I hate it when I type like that. But this is never used. It differs from should show in that this determines if there is content to show and if said content should be shown, regardless if the conditions to show that content is met. Regardless if the conditions to show that content is met are met. Get the fuck out of here. Wait, if this is not, go take me to the implementations. That's always true. Okay, so that's true. Is there any situation where it's not true? But if it's not used anywhere, the distribution be shown. This differs from this in that this determines if there is content to show and if said content should be shown. Regardless if the conditions to show that content are met. Which I can just have that be that. But then when would I use this? In theory, you would assume that the idea is that this is going here. But if this isn't used anywhere, then why the hell do I even have it? Right, because this is checking if it's configured, or if we always show the damage distribution in the tooltip, right? So like it's doing that. But let's say we take an item. Okay, we went a little too high. Alright, so this is the format where it checks to see, it gets the capability. This differs from should show. This only checks to see if the key is held down. This is checking to see that regardless if the key is held down, if there's is should we show something. But the reality is we always do that. This is only on the damage distribution one. Wait a second. This is only on the damage distribution one. Which we are always showing? What? This is where we have this, right? Yeah, see? This is where it is. This is where the check for that is, which means that, of course, this check doesn't matter. And it doesn't matter here either. Because I've already checked if it's configured, if it has the capability, and whether we should always be showing damage distributions and stuff. So then I don't see a good reason to keep this. It's not like this was something I had and then forgot to use. it's sort of something I had, didn't use, and then did what I was supposed to use it for some other way. So I there's a lot of methods where this gets deleted, but I'm pretty sure there's 5 methods. So let's see. No, it's all redundant. I've established that it's all redundant, so it doesn't matter. Oops. So that was that one. Now we're on this one where I'm assuming that this can be final. This can be final. Nice. This can be done with that, and then this can be replaced with a string. Just like that. And that's all that, so now I just have this stuff here. Unnecessary to string call. Where? Oh, right here. Minecraft adds gray color formatting code at the beginning of every tooltip string except the first one, so the formatting codes are duplicated. Interesting. I guess I never needed the complement. Icon aggregating type. Yeah, because I never flip it around. So that's fine by me. Not resolve symbol compare to. What the hell do you mean? Oh, because compare to object, excuse me. Okay, genuinely I thought there would be some slight things I needed to look over, but apparently everything here was implemented without jank. Which means that package is done, which means I've gone up here, I've done all these packages. So this package is done. There is that, but we can just remove all that. And then I can start saving stuff to the dictionary so that it leaves me the heck alone. Oh, wait. I do wish to rename this. Craft Tweaker. I'm gonna do that for now. Okay, so you use string tag ID there. There's 4 uses of it here. Compound tag ID, string, yeah, okay, that's fine. And then these uses those compound tags and stuff. All right, not a problem. Attribute modifiers key. Name key, which is name. Can't I change this to mbt dot attribute modifiers key, because that's what I needed it to be? Right, 'cause that's what it was, right? It was attribute modifiers. So yeah, that's fair enough. Okay, so then I never need that. I want to look at the usages here to see this stuff. This is used a lot of places, so. So I assume it's in the lang file, right? If it should be under tooltip info, then it should be here, but it's not. No, not that. I don't want that. I want usages of the string. Okay, find files. Okay, well then. We don't need those. Now the result of this down here is ignored, so we're going to disable for method. Well, I should probably actually put it here. All right, fine. I should put it here with a comment to disable the inspection. Oh, I can only suppress it for the class or for the method. All right, whatever. Non-constant string argument to info log calling. Oh, shouldn't I? Wait, what do you want me to do about this? Can't we just do boop, boop, and then do logger debug prefix and message? Is that acceptable? That's what you were going for, right? Yeah, you put the logger debug prefix, a space, and the message. So I can replace this with boop, boop, and then I can get rid of this and this, and then it maintains its intention. I don't care about the lang files and stuff, that's fine. Right, like it's, whatever, that doesn't matter. And there we go, that's everything. Now, the question is, can we build it, please? Can we do a build? Can we do a build? Let's see. If we can build it, then I think we're good to go. I don't care about the warnings and errors and stuff in like the build script and everything else. Not warnings and errors, just the warnings and typos and stuff in the build script. I mean, I guess the typos are important, but not these typos. So when typos cause problems in the future. I mean, okay, but when I'm talking typos, I'm talking like the word mixin gradle, which is not an English word, but is the name of this dependency, right? It's just it's not a real English word because it's combined as one word, right? So those kinds of quote unquote typos. I mean, there is this, which says that there is a vulnerability, a transitive out of bounds right. What? You know what? I'm good. I'm good. I don't need to know that. Go back to the terminal or this actually. Go back to this. Thank you. I don't think there's anything I can do with that, so we're just gonna leave that. And so now we hope that that builds. I'm just gonna let it compile. It should compile just fine without any issues. If it compiles fine, then we can look into motherfucker. All right. Unable to locate obfuscation mapping for @shadow method. That's fine. That's fine. This uses or overrides a deprecated API. Not sure which one, but that's fine. I'm not worried about that. This is a thing because I know it is. So unable to locate obfuscation mapping. That doesn't seem to be a problem, so we're not going to worry about that. Unable to locate obfuscation mapping for @accessor target. That's fine as well. And I think that's fine as well. And then this is actually a problem, and this is why it didn't work, because I need this to be super. You're editing a file that is ignored. Oh, well then what the fuck are you doing, brother? Oh, because it's in the build source. Yeah, no, that's not what I want. I need to go to integration, tick book translator. This is actually incorrect. It doesn't fucking know what it's doing. Because I made it an inner class, and then I can make you static. And then I guess I can remove the imports. And then the distribution modifier registry uses unsafe operations. Recompile with -excellent. What unsafe operations are you talking about? We're safe. Trust me. Distribution modifier registry. What's this one? No, it's fine. Don't worry about it. Yeah, no, you're okay. This is unchecked or unsafe operations. Ah, bro, I really wish I could recompile with dash excellent unchecked. Actually, what I can do is I can run an inspection on this, probably. Analyze, inspect code. Inspection profile. I mean, sure, analyze it. Not find anything to report. Well, then you're doing it wrong. That's the takeaway, is that you're doing it wrong. Configure this. And then, can I do unsafe? Unsafe lazy initialization of static field, that, sure, we can add that. Unsafe call to class.nuisance, that's probably not a problem. Implicit unsafe cast from dynamic type 2. I have everything, dude. So apply this stuff. And then the unchecked. Yeah, okay. Large arrow with no out of memory error check. That's not going to be a problem. All right, analyze it. What do you mean, bitch? There's something wrong here, and I want you to find it. Run inspection by name. Unchecked warning. Just in this file. Yeah, I didn't find anything. What? That's not what I wanted. I wanted run inspection by name. Necessary null check. Unchecked. Unsafe. All right, we're gonna change my. We're gonna change this as well. Let's see. Code metrics, editor config. That has everything enabled. Okay, so that has everything enabled. General force issues essential to this file, syntax errors. Yeah, okay. Empty directory, inconsistent line separators, incorrect formatting. Injected references, Java annotator. Well, I was viewing the problems reported by the Java annotator, compilation problems unresolved by IDEA references, and so on. I'm not using an annotator. Unresolved references. Line is longer than allowed by code style. Problematic white space. To do comment. Yeah, warn on to-do comments so that I remember to remove them. This is for Groovy, which doesn't matter. And now this is just for Java stuff. Chain of instance of checks. I was gonna try to do this parallel auditory design. Better declare get area object method in the shape interface and implement it in every. Yeah, okay. Yeah, I'm well aware of that. Chain references, chain reports class. What the fuck? Reports class. I'm looking at a bunch of inspections here, which you unfortunately can't see because it's in a different window. Reports classes which contain references to one of their subclasses. Such references may be confusing and violate several rules of object-oriented design. That's fine. I don't care about that. Reports declarations of collection variables made by using the collection class as a type rather than an appropriate interface. The warning is not issued if weakening the variable type will cause a compilation error. Concrete collection class array list used. No warning. Trim to size method is not available in the list interface. Quick fix is suggested to use the appropriate collection interface. I actually do like that. We'll keep that. Instance of check for this. Magic number, overly strong type class. Use checkbox below to ignore cast when there's a matching instance of check in the code. Okay, I don't care about that. I said not expose an interface. Static method only use one of the class. Type maybe we can use some concrete class. Whatever. All right. This is yeah class metrics. Anonymous class with too many methods. Okay, yeah. Class too deep in inheritance tree. Classes that are too deeply inherited may be confused and indicate that as a refactoring is necessary. Also classes. Okay, I don't care about that. Class with too many constructors, class with too many fields, class with too many methods, interclass is deeply nested, overly complex, anonymous class. Yeah, whatever. I don't care about that. Cloning issues. Yeah, I'm not using clone. Code maturity. Use an obsolete collection type or datetime API, class structure, abstract class may be interface, anonymous class can place with inner class. Class is closed to inheritance, class may extend adapter instead of implementing listener, bunch of other shit, inner class of interface, local class, marker interface. None of this really screams unsafe shit, so that's probably not what I need. Unqualified interclass access, unqualified static access. Wait. No, that's fine. It doesn't need to. It doesn't, we don't need that. Unnecessary qualifier for this or super. No, I don't care about that. I do want it. Necessary null check for equals call. Unnecessarily final on local variable parameter. Unnecessary qualified statically imported element. Yeah, no. Unqualified static access. Reports uses static members without the class name. No, okay. Actually, I don't think I need that either. Review feature warning, unchecked warning, value-based warnings, data flow, Boolean method, Boolean variable. Specify the style guideline. Never call a method on an object received from another call. The code that follows this. Never call a method on an object received from another call. What? Never call a method on an object received from another call. Oh. Yeah, no, I don't fucking give a shit about that. Use a variable whose value is known to be constant. Dependency issues. Encapsulation, error handling, checked exception, class directly extends throwable, error not rethrown, exception constructor called without arguments, instance of, nested, red def, thrown. Dude, I don't fucking know. I can't find it. Alright, how can I run it with my compiler warnings enabled? How do I add the compiler arguments? Options.compiler are compiler args equals what is this? This is a list. Now I can just do this. Dash xlint unchecked, which I believe is what it wanted. So now it'll, I don't know, it'll hopefully work. It'll hopefully show me the problems, which I believe is specific to this one. Here we are. Warning unchecked. Unchecked cast. Okay, I don't care about that stuff, but this is an unchecked cast on the distribution modifier registry. Where is the unchecked cast? Like down here? Right here. How is it unchecked? Does it need to be TD? Right, but you don't. Okay, so now I know that it's an unchecked cast. Unchecked cast. What the fuck do you mean? Configure this for unchecked. Unchecked. What do you say? You say that you you're not gonna find anything. Unchecked cast. I'm pretty sure. See, but you say it's redundant. Wow. And then the font render uses or overrides a deprecated API. All right, so give me the deprecation thing too while we're here. So I'm not sure why this is a thing. Oh, it's because this? No, it's M1. It cares about M1. But I already checked to see if it's not unchecked, bro. How is this an unchecked cast? How is this an unchecked cast? Oh, is it due to type erasure? It might. But this isn't even parameterized. Oh, is it because of this? No. Illegal generic type for instance of. Ooh. think I understand now. Registry. I need to now specify it's gonna be T and I don't know, something. Legal, yeah, okay, a legal generic type. Wait, can I just make it like object? It should implement O. I see why you're upset. What do you mean a legal generic type? Oops, that's not how you spell that. And I don't think super works here correctly either. Nope, it still hates it. It's not because it's a raw type. That can't be there. That should probably work. It's fine. I believe it's fine. I just don't want that error or like warning showing up. There we go. Here's my deprecation warnings now. Has been deprecated. So where is this? Oh, this is all in my mixins. There is one in the font renderer, but I've suppressed it for deprecation. Wait, I literally suppressed it for deprecation. Line 13. Wait, can I add a suppress warnings on this? Yeah, I didn't think I could, right? It doesn't make sense. Annotations are not allowed there. Exactly. What? Right, so it hates that, but I don't have a choice. I have to use it. All the deprecation ones are for the are for this. This one just has unable to locate this, which I'm not quite sure why that's a why or how that's a thing. Unable to locate obfuscation mapping for accessor target cap NBT. Well, maybe there isn't one. Can I add a... Makes sense. Here we are. I already have them all enabled, except for one. I guess that's probably fine then. There's no way I can, like, validate against it. Alright, whatever. I don't give a shit. Yeah, I already did that. Whatever. All I know is that those problems are problems I really wish I could... Like, this deprecation stuff, I wish I could get rid of, but I can't, and that's because I have to implement this? It's like, yeah, dude, I know it's deprecated. Let me leave it. Leave it alone. Don't touch it. Don't bitch about it. Dude, I hate warnings I can't get rid of. I don't think it really matters that much though. Point is that it has built successfully. I'm pretty sure. Right? So, boom. Let's sync the changes. We'll rebuild it one more time. Everything should be fine, minus those warnings, which I can't get rid of. But at least I don't know how to, and I don't care to. Those warnings are not problems that matter. Right? I just look here and I go, yep, that's fine. I see what I can do, because all it cares about is the import. So I can actually get rid of the import by just fully qualifying it here. Actually, wait, that's not what we want. I want to do it here. Fully qualify it here. This is now redundant. Ba-boom. Because that's deprecated. That would fix it. This is true. This is true. Because now it's not there, so now it's not going to compare about, not going to care about that being a problem. It's just going to care about this stuff, which is mixin stuff, where it's unable to locate obfuscation mapping. Is there a way to deal with that? The shadow is, oh no, the shadow's not even mixing extras either. So Uh, interesting. Do you have a remap? Yeah, but I need to know. Oh, there's a brother. I know what you have. You have value. It's value, value, value. So if I do value equals this and then remap false, and then value equals this and remap false, then that should, because there's no obfuscation mapping, so we'll see about that one. I'm not too sure about that one. Assuming that that works, then it should just be a-okay, which it is. There's no warnings at all. Nice and clean. So now the question is if it works. If you're unable to locate the obfuscation mapping, then don't remap it. I guess it doesn't require, remapping. Okay. Anyway, that was a bunch of highly unnecessary fiddling around, I would argue. But there are no more compiler warnings at all, which is what I want. So now, I did have an idea. I don't know if this actually helps, and I'm not sure if there's actually a problem either. But where were we? I think we're in. I think I actually need to be in here. For now, anyway, right? Because when we enter the attack stage, we update the context and the damage, and we check if the context matches and all that other stuff. But I'm wondering if it's more useful to have the phase of the damage calculation, i.e. attack, hurt, and damage, right? Where are we even located? We're located in damage calculation. Right, we have this. Current phase, and that's going to be calculation phase dot start. That's what's going to start at, right? And then I also want to know if, like, there should be Boolean, yeah. So what I want to return here is this dot current phase dot compared to phase is greater than 0. This compared to is a negative integer, 0 positive if the object is less than. Right, this needs to be less than 0. The current phase needs to be less than the phase we're progressing to. Right, so we pass in the calculation phase, and then what we do progress to phase, we move to this phase, right? Or the new phase. And this will also calc dot regress to phase, new phase. And then we peak, we get the context, we see if the context matches. And if the calc dot can progress to the new phase. Right? So the idea is if I'm in the damage phase and then something else during that damage phase inflicts the same kind of damage, I can now differentiate it by knowing that it has gone back to the beginning. And if it goes back to the beginning of damage calculation, then that's a new nested calculation because I'm tracking the phase of the calculation now. Right? Because this is damage stage. This is going to be damage calculation phase dot damage. This is calculation phase dot hurt. Right? Yeah. And then this is calculation phase dot attack. But it still works out because if it goes from damage back to hurt, then I know that by going back to hurt, right, it's trying to re-inflict damage again, and so hey, we should redo it. But if this is also refiring with the same damage in the same phase, then it's still trying to do damage multiple times, so we should still do a new calculation. Right, so that makes sense. Obviously, if the context is different, we redo it, but now if the context is the same, then there's that problem. But what I want to know here is, okay, so this progresses to the phase. This does not. I need to make sure it progresses to the phase. Like, regardless of what happens here, I need to do calc.progress to phase, new phase. In fact, I'm doing that everywhere, right? It doesn't matter which branch I'm taking, I'm progressing the phase, so. Right, because this is it's going to be non-null when it leaves here, because non-null here, it's non-null here, it's non-null here, we can progress to the phase, good shit, right? So now we always progress to the phase, I don't need to worry about that, because that's what I always want to do. And hopefully the fix for this that I did wherever it was should help out. So I don't know why it's here, but it is. That's not what I wanted. I thought they were supposed to open an issue for this. I could have sworn I told them that. Because I have opened the wrong thing somehow. This makes more sense. Alright. So the thing is that I don't know if this actually fixes it, because I can't verify it, but what I do know is that before, what I had was, what did I have before? Let me look at what I had before, because what I had before didn't seem right. What I had before, we are in the combat trackers, so it's under capability. Implementation, go to this, and then it was somewhere before this. So yeah, was it? This is hurt stage, this is damage stage. Hurt stage. Yeah, so it was doing that and still adding it, right? So I'm guessing that this probably fixes it. Because it was full returning out of the method. But now it actually it marks the calculation as complete. But we don't want to actually do any of the armor stuff, so we just skip that. This could still be useful, because if they still have the problem, but this doesn't show up, then that means something else entirely. But pretty sure that's not possible. So I'm feeling fairly confident that that fixes the problem, and tracking the phase may also help in a couple of other instances where multiple things are getting applied. Yeah, so imagine I inflict the damage twice through the hurt stage, right? If I inflict the damage twice through the hurt stage, what happens is I set this, or I set the I push the armor modifiers, the armor modifications, wherever the fuck it is. right? Wherever it is, which I think is in the DDD combat calculations under here. This, right? Because I'm pretty sure it'll do this, and then it applies an armor modifier, right, to the combat tracker. And so if I do that multiple times, I suppose if I do that multiple times, in a sense, it applies it multiple times, but I'm only doing the damage like once, and so they all don't get removed. But now all of those different instances should be accounted for, because now I'm tracking the exact phase that each calculation is in. So if that ends up doubling up multiple times, then that's fair. That should hopefully make it more robust and stop the crashes. I feel like this makes sense. But also, I can't really test it, right? So I'm not sure about that part. It's hard to test. Now, do I just ship it as is? I mean, I don't really like doing it, but I also am not exactly sure I'm going to test this shit. Right? In order to test this, I would need to be able to recreate the error, which I can't do. And for normal damage calculation, tracking the phase does nothing, because it'll go from attack to hurt to damage, and it's not going to care. I don't know. I'm gonna probably just ship it, dude. I might ship it as like a beta on GitHub only, have them test it. Probably a good idea. Yeah, all right. In that case, I'm kind of done. I know it's an hour early, but we're done, and there's nothing I can really whip up in an hour. Except getting rid of this. Changes to everything. Okay, go all the way back to the top. Ship all 333 files. They're taking an extra hour due to a major bug. Also true. Codebase cleanup. Rack. Better. Actually end calcs early on 0 damage properly. And then there's one more. Codebase cleanup. Rack. Calculation phase for better accuracy. All right. Ship it directly to master. And thank you for the Hydra. I don't have a glass next to me, but I will get it while it does this, so. All right. "98 warnings. What the fuck is this?" Can I organize imports on the whole thing? Um, optimize imports. Actually, hold on. If I do that, somehow I missed this? What? I might have overlooked some things. Can I optimize imports on... Actually, undo that. Undo it. If I optimize imports on this, it's Control-Alt-O. If I do that, does it do the same thing? It just... Yeah, I think Control-Shift-O and Control-Alt-O do the same thing. So, for the whole thing, optimize imports. Yeah, run these inspections. Get me... Okay, yeah, see. There's more! What are all these fucking warnings, bro? Alright. Okay, that we can get rid of. That we can get rid of. So those are gone. Chain of instance of checks. Chain of instance of checks indicates abstraction failure. Nah, it's fine. Suppress that. That's fine. Yeah, because I have to check for different options. Actually, is there a better way to do this? If the source is null and the true source is a player, otherwise if the source is any living base. Yeah, suppress for the method. That's fine. Uh, yeah, that's fine as well. You know what? Other files affected by this action have already been changed. Undo suppress for method, yes. Alright, fine, whatever. I think I want to remove this check. Configure. Chain of instance of checks. Remove that, reanalyze it. And it should remove all of those checks because, yeah. Oh my gosh, dude. It does not like, it does not like all this shit that's doing. All right. Collection declared by class, not interface. This I can get behind. Go here. Make this a set. This has no need to be a hash set. And then just do sets.new hash set. We still have a lot of other shit to do. Declaration of hash set should probably just be, you're right, a set. Wow. Yeah, and then weaken this as well. This doesn't need to be a hash set. Make that a set. Sets.new hash set. Oh, wait a second. Oh, wait. No. Yeah, sets.new hash set makes sense. Yeah, that's like valid. So okay, we're good there. Overly strong typecast. True, we can weaken that. Declaration of hash. I already did that. Okay. And this is on material items, so we can weaken that. And we can weaken that too. Because this extends this or implements that, so that's fine. Oh, I already did that. Alright, I did that. I did that. I did that. Good. That's all the abstraction issues. Instance method not qualified with this. When the fuck do you, what do you mean I overlooked that? Yeah, add this qualifier, add this qualifier. Unnecessary modifier. Remove that, remove that, remove that, remove that, remove that. I did weaken. I did weaken? Right? Yeah. And then if I weaken it, it doesn't change anything. Okay. So all I want to know. All I want to know is that it's not changing anything. Yep, we can weaken that and make sure that that stays weakened. Oh wait, and this can go to iTool part. Okay. Declaration can have final modifier. I don't think so. Add config.name to ignore if annotated by list. I don't know if I should make those final. Yeah, I don't want that to be final. That has that now. Can I re-inspect this? I'm hoping it ignores the stuff now. It still has a lot of different warnings. What the heck? No, but I literally... It should be ignored. I guess I can just do that. Suppress for class, suppress for class, suppress for class, suppress for class, suppress for class. Just suppress it for all of these classes, because these classes... I don't want to mess with them. Method always returns the same value. Yeah, let's press for the method. Suppress it for the method, suppress this for the method. That's intentional. And then press for method. Method can be made void. Method parameter always has the same. Suppress for parameter. Protected member in final class. I guess this can just be static. That's fair. Redundant throws clause. Remove that. Argument that get true source might be null. Okay, so those are no longer relevant. Somehow missed that. Replace that with a lambda. Yeah, I can replace that with a lambda. Okay, so these are no longer valid. And this is no longer valid. We're just gonna... That's like supposed to be the thing? No, not all. Actually, let me... I don't need that. So I don't need this. And I don't need that. Because they are no longer relevant. Method owner class is never instantiated, or all instantiations are not reachable from the entry points. Rerun the code inspection now. I want to see what's left. Is it just the unused stuff? Whoops. I like super smacked my mic. Whoops. Uh, you wanna do thing? You wanna inspect the code now, please? There we go. Yeah, save that to dictionary, save that to dictionary, and that, and that, and that, and that. Now all I have is this. All constructor usages are not reachable from the entry points. Right, because it's not. That bit of the code isn't reached from there, which makes sense. And this isn't reached from anywhere because it's not called because it's done through that way. Which applies to a lot of these. They're never instantiated or no instantiations are reachable from the entry points. I mean, it doesn't really seem to care that much. You know what? It's fine. Then I think we're fine now that it's done this. Turns out I did end up spending close to an extra hour because there were warnings and inspections that I guess weren't run. I'm not too sure. 21 warnings. What are the warnings now? Don't care too much about that. Right. I mean, it built just fine, so I don't know what you're going on about. Seems fine to me. Commit and push. Do it. Don't worry about my build script. It's fine. Now, what are the warnings here? The warnings are just from this. Commit anyway and push. Just send it. It's fine. There we go. Maybe one day I will try and rewrite the build script so that it doesn't complain, but it doesn't matter. Not right now, anyway. So, I'm just gonna rebuild it one more time, and then I'm gonna upload that to the GitHub. I'm not gonna release it because I just want a verification that it actually does something. I mean, it looks like it does, but I don't want to break anything. Maybe I just ship it anyway. I don't know. I'll think about what I want to do with that. But that's gonna be it for me. I am done. That's all the code updating stuff I need to do here. So, next week I will probably be working on something else, not DDD. We're done with that. So yeah, that'll be it. Thanks for watching, tuning in, and I'll be back tomorrow with the usual Stardew Valley. So I will check you all then. All right, peace out.